What's up, YouTube? Okay, for today's video, we're going to talk about 7 things you need to take with you on every single motorcycle trip. It's going to be things that you don't normally think of, things that I've learned over the years. So let's get moving. All right, YouTube. So, as I said in the intro, I'm going to get with y'all about 7 things that you really need to carry with you when you're traveling on a motorcycle. The 7 things, they're not in order of importance or nothing like that. We're just really talking about things that you don't normally think of. And I've traveled on a motorcycle for years, and these are just random little tidbits that I've picked up along the way. So let's just get started. So the first one is going to be on days like today, especially. You got overcast, you've got a little bit of rain here and there. It's a little cooler than what it was supposed to be when I checked the weather. Go figure, right? I think I got sprinkled on a little bit earlier. What else? Any number of things. So everybody, when they're traveling, everybody, or mostly everybody, I hope you do, carries rain gear. So rain gear keeps you dry, keeps you a little bit warm, cuts the wind, stuff like that. But not everybody carries an extra layer of clothing. So that's where this is leading. I always carry an extra layer. It could be a hoodie, it could be just an extra long sleeve that's a little thick, just for unknown drops in temperature. So I might be taking a trip and decide, hey, I want to run up to this mountain overlook, and you end up getting up there and spend a little bit too much time or longer than you expected, and you're up there, temperature drops because you're going up in altitude, and then it also drops because it's getting later in the day. You know, during the spring or the fall, stuff like that's when you're going to really need to pay attention to stuff like this. So, and you may not ever even wear it, but you know it's there, it's a peace of mind, and you know, an extra pair of socks. You know, if you're traveling, you've got extra clothing, but you might just be taking a day trip, or I'm sorry, an overnight trip. So just carry an extra long sleeve. Some people, I mean, at one point in time, I didn't have extra zip-in liners to a jacket, so I just always carried a hoodie. Especially during months like this, maybe carry a pair of long johns in your saddlebag. So that, you know, that's about enough there. Let's see, number 2. So we've got 7 things here, so make sure you stay for all 7. Number 2, we've got extra gloves. Kind of goes along with just being prepared, I guess. I was on the way back from a trip a couple months ago, and I actually lost a glove somehow going down the road. I don't know if I laid it on top of my suitcase. I think that's what I did. I had my lighter of 2 gloves laying on a suitcase on the back of the bag. Stopped to get gas. I think I had my mind on something else. Jumped on the bike, rolled down the road, and realized I didn't have my gloves on. By the time I figured out where they were, I had already lost one of them. So make sure you carry a second pair of gloves. The other side of that is kind of the same reason as you carry the extra layer. Sometimes you get that temperature drop, or sometimes you get the storm shower that comes out of nowhere, because it's East Tennessee where I'm from, and if you don't like the weather, just hang around 15 minutes because it'll change. And you know, you get your gloves wet, and then there's a drop in temperature, and then your hands are freezing, your fingers are froze, and you're just having a miserable time. So carry that extra pair of gloves, maybe a little thicker glove for winter time, or you know, a waterproof glove, and it's just going to save you a crappy unknown storm shower, or a crappy evening with the last hour of a ride and you're just miserable and cold. So it'll just help in the long run, trust me. It happened to me last week. I was recording a video and it got super cold, and was out riding and forgot that I had on my thin gloves, these MSR gloves, and these MSR gloves definitely cut wind, but obviously they're thin, so I just needed a thicker pair of gloves. So I had my heavy winter gloves in my saddlebag, threw them on. It was a much happier last 20 miles home. So there you have it. Next, let's see, what do we want to do next? I had to write all these down, so extra key and or key fob. And if you have a key fob, make sure you have an extra battery. These newer bikes all have key fobs, the bigger bikes, a lot of the smaller bikes. I'm not really familiar with the BMWs, I'm not familiar with the Triumphs, but you know, this particular Harley here has a key fob. I don't need a key to start the bike, but the key fob has to be with me on the bike for the bike to start up. If you lose your key and or key fob, at least on these bikes, you can put in a code. The problem with that is if you buy your bike used and you don't get the code, or it's been reset from factory settings, then you have no idea what that code is, so you can't put it in. Now there is a way to clear the code and put in a new code if you ever need to do that. We can cover that at a later date, but it's really important that if you lose your key, at least you can lock up the fork lock, you can lock up your saddlebags, stuff like that. So always carry an extra key fob if you can with a battery, and get yourself out of a bad situation if it ever comes. Things happen, you know, and you just want to make sure that you can cover what you need to cover. And like I said, that's not just a Harley thing. You know, BMW, KTM, some of the big adventure bikes, you still need keys. You still got to have that to get the bike started. And you know, it's just a good practice to have. Now you're going to hide it somewhere on the bike or on your person, so you need to make sure it's separate. Now if you've got saddlebags and the saddlebag key is separate, or the trunk key is separate, or I'm sorry, is a different key than the ignition key, then you're definitely got to make sure you keep those separated in case you lose one and not the other. You don't, you know, you want to be able to get to your extra ignition key in your saddlebag. So just have a good plan for that in case it ever happens to you. Next on the list, I actually covered this one in a short the other day because this can definitely put you in a bad situation. But you're out riding, you're headed through an area that doesn't have a lot of bathrooms, you come across a roadside bathroom, or you know, a porta-john or something like that. You go in and there's no toilet paper. Well, now what are you going to do? You want to cut off a piece of your shirt? You want to use a sock? What are you going to do? So carry an extra roll of toilet paper, even if it's just a small roll to save yourself a little bit of room, just in an emergency situation. You know, that'll help. And you know, you got it if you got to blow your nose. You get, you know, you're driving down the road, you got stuff flying all around, you get dust in your eyes, you get dust in your nose, blow your nose, all that good stuff. Then you at least got that to help you out a little bit as well. Let's see, extra straps. So we've got different options here. You've got bungee cords, you've got the little elastic netting, you've got rock straps or rock style straps. I carry, well, so on my luggage on the bike I have rock straps. I also carry a couple extra bungees, and I carry a elastic netting. In the past I've used bungees. I've always used bungees. Here recently I invested in some rock straps, and man, they're awesome. I mean, you don't have to buy the brand name. They've got off brands on Amazon, and from what I can tell, they're just as good. So just take a look at them. I cannot recall how much they were, honestly. I want to say it was like 20 bucks for 2, but it makes strapping stuff down so much easier and faster. It doesn't wiggle near as much. Now the elastic netting, that stuff is perfect. It's got, you know, 6 hooks, 8 hooks, 10 hooks, depending on, you know, which one you buy for your bike. And say you're out camping and you've got to grab a case of water, and you got to just throw it on top of your gear that's already there, or you got to grab some firewood, or you end up buying an extra jacket while you're out and about. Just, you gotta love somebody that just don't care. Thank you very much. Where was I? Yes, the straps. So the elastic netting, people got to drive crazy. Where was I? I'm sorry. Elastic netting. You know, grab you an extra case of water, grab you fill up your water bladder, throw it on the back of your bike, grab your firewood, any number of things. And you know, you might be visiting family on the motorcycle and somebody gives you something and you just need a little extra something to strap it down with. Those things come in way more handy than not, and they take up 0 room. So throw that in your saddlebag. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them pretty much any motorcycle shop. It's just a little extra thing in the back of your mind to carry with you in case of emergency, kind of thing. All right, next, what do we got? We've got, oh, extra cash and or change. So a lot of people that are used to traveling around toll roads, you know, they automatically keep changing their car. But if you're not, I'm not, I don't have none of those around where I live. And so, you know, you take a trip to Florida, or you take a trip to some of these places that have toll booths and toll roads, and it's not the automatic kind that takes your picture and sends you the bill. You still have to stop and talk to the person. Then you're going to need exact change. And a couple dollar bills, some quarters, stuff like that. Always keep that stuff with you. Now, another reason you're going to need to carry cash is for, you know, you might go into an area in the mountains, or go to a motorcycle rally, and they're out in the middle of nowhere and they can't get cell signal. So, you know, maybe you're visiting a food truck and they can't ring you up with a credit card. So the problem you're going to run into is now you're stuck. Now you can't eat. Now you can't get you a drink. That's problematic. So the next thing you got to figure out is, okay, where can I go to the ATM at? Well, they might not have one there. You might have to go down the road to the gas station. So just carry, you know, 10, 20, 30 bucks extra. And then if you use it, next time you see an ATM, stop, grab you another 20. But make sure you carry your quarters too, because, you know, nothing will piss you off worse than getting to your hotel and needing to do your laundry, and the laundry room don't have a change machine, or the change machine don't work, and now you're stuck having to get yourself quarters and having to do laundry, which nobody enjoys. So just enjoy yourself, make your trips a little easier by carrying a few extra dollars with you. Let's see, layer, gloves, key fob, straps, cash and change, toilet paper. Okay, last but not least, you know, we talked about earlier about getting yourself in a position and losing your key. Well, a couple times throughout my life, come spring, you know, the motorcycles have set. I haven't been the best motorcycle owner and kept the bike plugged up all winter. So, you know, the battery's a little weak, but you're like, hey, I'm going to take this trip anyway. And, well, you get halfway down the road to wherever you're going and your battery goes dead. That's problematic. So what do you got to do then? You got to either get somebody to jump you off, or you got to find something somewhere to buy a new battery. Hopefully you're not out in the middle of nowhere and you can get a battery, or you got to call a tow truck. So one of the best investments, you know, I've had to use them before, I recently bought a new one, is a battery jump starter. You know, they make small ones for motorcycles. The one I just recently bought, it's a Tusk, but there's several brands out there. Tusk was on the website, Rocky Mountain ATV. I was buying these gloves and I was able to get free shipping if I ordered, you know, the gloves plus a little, you know, something else. So I, you know, took a chance and decided to get the battery jump starter. The really cool thing about it though is it doubles as a battery bank, so I can charge my GoPro batteries and I can charge my phone. And if you do any kind of content creation, you understand how important that can be. So we've got 7 things to make motorcycle travel a little bit better for you. If you've enjoyed these 7 things, make sure to give me a like or a subscribe. If you've got other stuff that you want to share, comment down below and just let me know what you think. Let me know something extra that you carry with you. You know, it could be any number of things, be a handkerchief, I don't know, who knows.